Hi, haven't had a video update for a while. I'm in my second month of living in Bangkok. I'm planning on doing this for at least the foreseeable future. I got a 5-year soft power visa for Thailand. All I have to do is show up to a cooking class once a month for 6 months. I have my 5-year visa. In between that, I'm probably going to start developing a life in Austin. I kind of like both, living in two cities. I like Bangkok because it gives me no work. I don't have to work here. I could do all my work in a half a year. In fact, 2 months of work in the US in trucking could pay for 6 months of living here in Bangkok. I don't really like working that much. I mean, the first month in Bangkok, I got in here at the end of September. The first month was mostly doing nothing, some socializing, some getting reacquainted with Bangkok, and getting my studio apartment, my studio condo. I pay about $750 US a month for it. I love the area I'm in. There's plenty of food places around here. I'm close to the public transit. I'm on the 28th floor. My building has a pool. It's everything you need for roughly 700 a month. And so my expenses are pretty light. So the first month in Bangkok, I did almost nothing that productive. In November, that's when I started getting back into coding. And the backstory of my coding is I started learning how to code at the when ChatGPT 3.5 came out, and I was running my bookstore at the time, and I started learning the basics around Python and coding. I started developing tools for my bookstore. Then I got really interested in the field of data science. Once my bookstore kind of plateaued, I couldn't grow it that much. I got into the data science field, trying to learn everything I could about data analysts and data science. I mean, the best I came up with after a year was working for the federal government, working on the CPI index, collecting data for that. It was probably the easiest job I ever had, working for the federal government. But the problem is I was working for somebody else. I mean, if I wanted to take a week of vacation, I had to get permission, even though I did nothing most of the time. The week I wanted off all the time, it happened to be a week I couldn't take off for some sort of training week. I said, no, working for other people, it's not for me. I mean, I wanted to get into data science. I didn't want to back to college. And so I took the slow route, learning within, becoming a data collector, data analyst, eventually. But, it takes about 4 or 5 years to go that route. I said, no, I'm going to do a different model. I'm going to go sell my house, sell my assets in Vegas, and go on the markets, make my living expenses, half the year, doing trucking. I mean, my past 6 months, I was, going to factories, flying around to factories all the time, and moving new trucks and RVs to dealerships. That was fun, but it didn't pay that much for the risk. I mean, right now I'm fighting the most BS claim I ever had. I mean, they claimed that the interior of the cab was damaged, some door was damaged. And at the delivery, I had a bill of lading. They expected it. It said no damage on the bill of lading. So they're withholding my bond for it, like $1,000. It's nothing to fight over, but I have proof it was delivered with no damage. So I might fight it, I might not. But again, that's the realities of the vehicle delivery industry. There's a lot of risk for very little reward. I mean, I was being paid like $1,000 a week. I made easily double that in conventional trucking. But I don't know if I'm going to go back to delivering new vehicles. It's a fun job to have, but the risk doesn't, outweigh the reward. So, yeah, that's my life now. Like half the year, probably going to be trucking. Half the year, I'm going to be living here in Bangkok. And what I hope to do is bootstrap something with the advancements of AI. What I've been doing lately is trying to build a bot for trading crypto. And I thought the past 3 weeks, the first 3 weeks of November was just spent brainstorming the architecture. I'm more of a fast fail type of development. So if something doesn't work at the onset, it goes back to the drawing board to figure out an architecture that could be built. I mean, conventional bots in the retail world, they're made based off of rules, not inference, not AI, not machine learning. And most of the big quant firms, they've been using, AI, machine learning for, the past 5 years, if not a decade, and they're successful. It hasn't really piled down to the retail world yet. So that's what I'm doing right now. I got the architecture figured out. I got the pipeline figured out. And what I'm doing, I'll even show you my pipeline. The basic architecture is I get data. Market data is like free to the tick. You get down to the millisecond from the major exchanges for data. And combining that with alternative data like sentiment analysis, other asset classes, whatnot, you could basically create a clean data to make a forecast layer. And that's what I'm building. I'm building everything in the middle here is I'm building everything out. So I'm getting data and everything, the execution phases. I mean, free trade, it's a common bot. I like their back test. I mean, back testing is where you have a strategy and you test it in the real market data as if you were doing it live, but based on historical data. That's a good framework. If something doesn't work in the back test, just go back to the drawing board. I mean, once something works in the back test, you go into live execution. I mean, MT5 is the primary platform that brokers use if you want to do bot trading. And why I don't want to just trade conventionally, well, I'm a horrible gambler. I understand computers, I understand machine learning, I understand AI, and I don't want to trade like a normal person. So what I want to do is build a bot based on machine learning. So what I'm building right now is the middle layer, basically. So what it does is it takes data and makes a forecast. Like, is there an 80% probability that this asset will go up or down in the next 30 minutes? That's what it basically does. In the decision layer, it takes that forecast and basically makes a decision. Should I short this based on the forecast, or should I go long on this data I'm getting from the forecast layer? And then it feeds data to the free trade or the execution platform. And where I'm going with this, I mean, if I could get something working in the backtest area, then I go into live paper trading where, and if it works live trading, I'm not using real money the same way I perform in the backtest or close to it, then I, trade with real money, something small amount. And the way I scale that, well, you don't really make rich off of your own money. You make rich off of prop firms. So I'm probably going to go to a prop firm. And the way it goes, you could scale up, pretty large if you have a bot that works with multiple prop firms. And that's how to scale this up, what I'm doing. And I'll show you what I built. What my inputs are is data. My inputs are a model. I'm using scikit-learn. It's an open source model for, all the math is in the algorithms. It's included in all this. I don't really need to know how all this works. I just need to know how to plug it all together. And that's what I'm doing. And the data is easy enough to get to trading. because Buyouts has an API. I have to make sure I'm in the Thailand IP address. It doesn't like US IP addresses. So what I basically do to get data and use it on 30-minute candles, you're just going to download, the first 12 months of 2024. And it's just easy enough to get the trading data. So I have the trading data. It creates a base model. And I export the strategy. And I'm just going to overwrite this. This is from a previous. Like in the pipeline, I couldn't really figure out how to So like right now I'm working on a pipeline. I've never had this work without fault all the time. So let me just try this again. And it should even be creating a zip file, but it does. I couldn't figure out how to get that around that. It doesn't work all the time. Sometimes it produces the file. And I do have to make a couple edits on a file. So I'm still kind of reworking the pipeline. But once I got the pipeline figured out, I'll fix everything wrong off the back end. And I'm just using Cursor and brainstorming on the common LLMs. I like Grok, I like StackGPT. I use a little mix of both of them right now. I have to edit the IP address. I mean, for the API. I have to edit the time frame. Now, eventually I'll automate all this, but it's not that big of a problem right now. Again, I have to move the file, and when there's minor things I could easily automate later, but I'll just go ahead and move it. And working with Windows is such a headache. The next version of this, I'm just going to use Ubuntu, Linux. There's just so many environmental variables. I have it running on Docker, which solves most of the problems, but not everything. And I like Freak Trade as the back tester. So I have this running. And I'm just going to do a quick back test. I'm just going to use October. I'll get the data for October. It's got the data for October it's trained on 2024. This is a pretty booming year for crypto. And now I'm going to back test it to see how well this bot performs. So the market went down 8%, and I only went down 3%. So I beat the market by roughly 4%. With this, I started with 1,000. I only went down to 965. I mean, this is sort of the results I want to see. I mean, it's better than nothing. I mean, if I remove your spot and hold during this month, I would have lost more money than using the spot. So it's an accomplishment to build, but bot isn't even working in the back end. I mean, it's just when an error counts, it just goes back to defaults. So what I have now is the pipeline is working. So what I have to do to trade live is generate the bot. For MT5. Go ahead and compile it. And right now, the bot that was, only went down 4% in October is now paper trading the markets right now. And that's the pipeline. I got the pipeline figured out. All I have to do is need to work out the issues of the back end, because it's just going to defaults. And it's most likely an environmental issue, and it just takes time to figure out. So that's what I'm doing with my time here in Bangkok. I mean, I'm basically doing something productive, something that might make money eventually. I'm not really risking any money right now. I mean, the framework I have, I mean, I'm not even going to put real money in it until it works on paper. So, yes, I mean, I think I have my life figured out. So I'm doing bootstrap projects with the time I have off, and maybe in the long term this will eventually work out.